You're listening to the Mortgage Success Podcast, a show created to inspire mortgage brokers to achieve optimal success in their mortgage businesses. I'm the host, Brian France, the author of the book, Internet Marketing for Mortgage Brokers, tripling your online sales by getting your internet marketing done the right way. I'm also the founder of Mortgage Broker Marketing, the digital marketing agency for the mortgage industry. On each episode, I'll be sitting down with industry leaders to talk about their processes, the lessons they've learned, and how to find success in your mortgage business. What's up, Mortgage Success Podcast listeners? With me today is Michael McAllister of Empower LO. Michael, how are you?
I'm great, man. Thanks for having me on.
Awesome to have you. So tell me about Empower LO. How'd you get started in the mortgage industry? And we'll go from there.
Yeah, well, I actually got started in the mortgage industry as a loan officer. Sold a car to the right guy when I was in the mortgage business, actually down there in San Diego where you're at. Sold a car to an executive at Bank of America, recruited me into the mortgage business in like 2015. And then a couple years in, it was like a year and a half in, that I decided to make the leap to retail, like outside of being in a bank and generating my own business essentially. But I was like 22, 23 years old at the time. And I had moved to Idaho, and the average loan officer in the market, it was similar to any market. It was like 52, 53 years old, average real estate agent, kind of similar age. I was having a really hard time as a high D personality relating to 45-year-olds, trying to convince them to trust me with their business. And I'm taking the shit more seriously than they are. And it was just like, it wasn't a good fit for me, like chasing realtors. So anyways, ended up figuring out that Quicken Loans generates a lot of internet leads, and kind of went down the rabbit hole of trying to figure out how Quicken Loans generates a whole lot of internet leads, and landed in Facebook ads first, and realized, man, these leads are not very good, and and this can't be where Quicken Loans is getting them. And so I just kept looking, ultimately kind of cracked a code, so to speak, when it comes to generating leads with Google ads. Use that to build my mortgage business up really quick, and quick enough to get on the radar of a couple of loan officers at the company I was working with that hired me to do the same thing for them. And then from there, the rest is history.
Got it.
Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah. So used Facebook ads, found out the leads there were not very good, I'm sure. Went to Google and figured it out there. So you had to learn the ads process, setting up landing pages, the bidding process. And how'd you find information on that? Did you just Google or what?
Yeah, I mean, so there was a couple things all kind of happening at the same time. I'm sure Andrew Pollock with Lead Pops down in San Diego, right? So he wrote Mortgage Marketing Manifesto. I think it was in 2016. And so it was 2017, 2018 that it got on my radar for 2017. I think that it got on my radar for the first time. And he talks a lot about like the super technical side of like mortgage lead conversion, specifically landing pages, engaging lead forms and stuff. That was what I mean, being introduced to the technical side of it, like he did in that book, is kind of what I needed to get the initial motivation to figure it out. But then from there, I invested in like a Facebook ads course. And so you pick up, some concepts from that, the idea of an optimized landing page translates between traffic sources. Just because I'm not using Facebook ads doesn't mean I can't use the same idea for my landing page or whatever, right? So just kind of a culmination of those different things. But I mean, beating my head against the wall a little bit too as well, and just trying that. The Google Ads thing, I mean, Google Ads was honestly just kind of lucky. Like Google Ads, I bought Perry Marshall's Entrepreneur Guide to like running Google Ads, or Google AdWords back then is what it was. And I got like 14 pages into the book and was like, fuck this, dude. Like, this is so boring. I'm going to figure this out on my own. Just reckless, just stupid. and go in. And so I didn't even get to the part of the book where it talks about like your different matching types: broad match, phrase match, exact match.
Right.
And in the book, after going back later and reading it, it tells you basically like, don't use broad match, like phrase match, exact match, like that is the prevailing strategy at the time. Well, I didn't read that. And you could, like, the way that you determined what match type back then was either you went individual into each keyword and hit the drop down like you do now, or when you add the keywords, it's like quotes or brackets.
Yep.
Right. And so I did none of that. So I added 175 keywords to the campaign, all broad match, without conversion tracking. I didn't know what a fucking tracking pixel was, dude. I didn't. Sorry, I'm cussing a little bit. I hope you bleep that out later. But
I think the audience is adults, so I think we'll be all right.
No kids learning about mortgages this week. Okay, so anyways, like, I didn't have a tracking pixel. I didn't know what that was or how to set that up. But the broad match is really what saved my ass. Is I just went in and set all of the keywords to like $1.75 maximum bid, and was like, all right, if I convert 10% of these, I'm converting at or if I convert 10% of these, I'm getting leads for less than $20 a lead. Search leads exclusively to less than $20 a lead. And my landing page actually started out with like a 13-14% conversion rate, even with a broad match strategy. So from there, like once I started to figure out stuff like conversion tracking and stuff, it got pretty easy from there.
Awesome. And so why do you think Google is the number one place people should be spending their time and money, or loan officers should be spending their time and money, instead of like Facebook ads or social media? One word,
intent.
Yeah.
Intent. Like intent is everything. Like when you sell something that everybody wants or needs at some point, like even people that don't qualify or have no business, like even exploring the idea of it, when you sell something like that, yeah, exactly. When you sell something like that, the only thing that you can go off of is intent. Like you have to hope that people have some semblance of common sense, and that like they wouldn't be searching if they hadn't done something to put themselves in a position to be able to do it. And granted, most internet leads are like, most internet leads, even on Google, are crappy, like as far as like their situations go. And you get some people that think that buying a house is going to be easier for them than renting a house. They've been rejected for fucking 50, 60 rentals. And then they think that buying a house is going to be easy. Like you do get some of that, but like you also get qualified people that are just looking for information. And when they're at the peak of their intent and they're thinking like typing something mortgage related into a Google search, like homes are sexier than loans. We know that. So if somebody's searching for something mortgage related, their intent's got to be pretty damn high.
Right. Yeah. It's, I mean, there's got to be search intent, right? You never know what people don't go open up Facebook or Instagram looking for a mortgage. So, you're hitting someone when they're, of course, everyone wants the American dream, right? Everyone wants to buy a home, but can they is a different story. And someone going to Google, right? There's intent there. They have a need, and we can target that, right? That's amazing. So how much time and energy do you think a loan officer should invest in an internet marketing strategy themselves?
I mean, I don't think that a loan officer should have a marketing strategy that isn't digital right now.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong. I don't like that's not to say that you shouldn't have aspects of your marketing strategy that aren't digital, but like with how easy it is for loan officers to access technology for like digital communication, whether it's like Facebook messages, text messaging, email, and how easy it is to find outsourced like writers and stuff, like, and then how evergreen that stuff is, like how the people that were creating content 5-6 years ago, they're reaping the rewards of it today, right? Like, it's not going anywhere. It's not a fad. It's like, if you want to stay in this business for longer than the next couple of years, like you should be investing 80% of the time that you invest into marketing in like a full digital flywheel, so to speak.
Right. And so talk to me about the follow-up systems and things that you're using. So when someone does fill out, say, a form on a landing page, what happens? What happens with that prospect? When does the loan officer step in, and how does your system Empower LO help them?
Yeah. So this is honestly, in my opinion, like, we add more value after the lead is generated than we do before.
Yeah.
Like, we put loan officers in the best in the best position as far as like being on Google and get them the best quality leads, like, that you can get outside of buying leads from a good, a high level aggregator, Zillow. I mean, like, we can't compete with the intent that Zillow leads have, like, but we can put our loan officers in a good position by like giving them a good quality lead source to start with. But really the value that we add is so much, like, there's so much more value that we add on the back end with the marketing automation piece, with like helping loan officers identify leads that are actually worth their time, energy, and attention. Like, that's the name of the game with consumer direct. Internet leads have been around for a while. Leads in general have been around for a while. Like, the reason why consumer direct call centers like Quicken, Rocket Mortgage, right? Like, the reason why they got so freaking big is because they had the technology and the staffing to like make that business model make sense. Right. But now every loan officer can have the technology and the staffing to make that business model make sense. Right. And so that, like, because of so we use, so Empower LO, right? You brought up, like, Empower LO is our company name. Empower LO is also what we call our white labeled version of Go High Level, which is like a really, Go High Level, like, crazy marketing automation technology, but also like a blank canvas. And so what we do is we specialize in creating follow-up campaigns, automations, pipelines, like pipeline management systems. Like, we specialize in doing that for loan officers, which is why we took our version of High Level that we were offering, that we were managing for all of our loan officers that use our pay-per-click services. And we packaged that and now sell it to loan officers. They can use it whether they're generating leads or not. It's valuable, right, to work your realtor relationships. We have realtor outreach workflows in there where you can drop cold, like a cold agent list into the top of it, and we'll like help you set it. It'll help you set appointments with agents to be able to articulate your value prop and stuff, like, and it's all through automated text, right? Because text is so like what everybody wants. Integrating with social media accounts so that you can post on Facebook and LinkedIn and whatnot. Integrating with your Google My Business profile so that you can automatically send out review requests to your closed loans, or manually send them out if you want to filter that a little bit. Like, it's all, that's what I mean when I say, like, a loan officer, 80% of their marketing investment should be digital, because with software platforms out there like Go High Level, or in this case like Empower LO, like, you can spend 80% of your time on digital marketing in one platform and have it all cohesively work together, and ultimately, result in business for you.
Go High Level is amazing. It does so much. And it's the power of the system is, when you first sign up for it, right, is blank, but you can start to build it, and it can do a lot of powerful things, like following up with people, the review requests. It tracks a lot of phone calls and things like that. So it's amazing.
Setting up your custom audiences for retargeting and stuff. Like, being able to take any of your conversion actions, whether it's a lead form on your website or somebody filling out an application or whatever it is. And then you could say, when somebody does this, add them to this Facebook audience. And it's easy as like, just click, like, dude, the platform is sick. It's amazing. And it's going to disrupt. Yeah. Triggers. Exactly.
Yeah.
Dude, is your agency still using Go High Level? Like, are you using Go High Level with your
100%? Yeah. All of our clients. We put them in there. We set them up, all the funnels or the surveys that go on our clients' websites, are all connected in high level. Someone fills it out,
Cool.
they get added to a follow-up campaign.
Nice.
And yeah, we're just, it's really designed to get a response from them, right? And what we find is 80% of the people, right? 80% of them want to communicate by text, right? Like a lot of them, they're at work or something. They're like, hey, yeah, can you text? And, and then they'll figure out a time to meet. But that was eye-opening for us too. When we were doing Facebook ads a few years ago for all of our clients, and they would get 100 leads in a month. Well, they couldn't realistically get back to those people in a decent time frame, right? It might be 2 hours later, maybe the next day. Well, they never got in touch with them, right? Like 99% of the people. So we had to do something. We had to put some sort of system in place to start communicating with the lead right when it happens.
Yeah.
That level changed the game for us there.
Amen.
So what do you do with? I know you help coach people and coach your clients sales wise. Can you talk to us a little bit about that?
Yeah. So, honestly, like our team, like we've only got a team of like 9 people here in our office here in Boise, Idaho. But we take pride in doing anything that we do at a high level, right? Like one of our core values is do shit the right way. And so I think that like, I don't know if it's like arrogance on my part when I started the company. Like, honestly, this whole company started because I looked at how traditional like mortgage marketing worked and like was like, dude, that's a circle jerk. Like, I don't want any part of that. Like, you know what I mean? Like, and granted now I'm like, I was stupid. I was arrogant, but like, that's how the company started, was because I was like, there's gotta be a better way. And then set out to finding it and then proving it. Like at the point that I found it for my own business, I was intent on proving it to the industry that like, yo, this is a great freaking way to run your business. And so I think that that made it so that as we started to onboard clients and they started to bitch about lead quality, like, because inevitably, like, we get way less of that now because we're way better at setting proper expectations up front, at like, we have more notoriety, I guess, in the space where people know, like when they come in, they're more than likely referred by somebody or have heard of us before, talked to us a couple of years ago. We get a lot of return clients. And so we have this conversation like way less, but in the beginning, I took it personally when people were like, oh man, these leads are bad.
Right.
And so I'd listen to the phone calls and look at their text messages back and forth and be like, yo, no, you're bad. Like, what do you mean? And it started out that way, and we just were super hands-on. Tanner, who was kind of like my right-hand guy, who went off and started his own agency a couple months ago after 4 years with us. Me and Tanner at the time were just all over, like, if a client needed to be coached once a week, needed accountability once a week, like we were all over it. And just the amount of information that we learned and we gained over years of managing dozens of loan officers on a monthly basis and helping them work through different challenges, managing this in different markets. So like SoCal takes a different strategy than like Texas or Florida or Alabama does. Like seeing all those different perspectives, it's just more and more data points for not only me, but like my whole team in here that kind of looks at this the same way as I do, is like every day is an opportunity to get better at our craft.
Right.
And I just over time, like we just gained enough information to where there's nobody, like I firmly believe there's nobody better out there at converting mortgage leads than our team in here, and nobody that has more information to take in to help other loan officers do the same thing. And like I said, it's just data, just collecting that data over time and being intentional about using it, creating feedback loops, etc.
Right. I mean, if someone went to Google, they typed in a specific keyword, they landed on the landing page, they made contact, right? That's not a bad lead. They asked, if the first question was, what's your rate? That's not a bad lead, right? That's that person, it's your job to sell them, right? To build trust with that person. And So it's
or a lot of the times it's stuff like getting on the phone and they get on the phone with somebody and they're like, oh yeah, I'm trying to get an idea of what I can qualify for. I'm like probably like 3 or 4 months out from applying, and then the loan officer goes, well, all right, well I could give this is what the process would look like, so let me know when you're ready. And then like what the what in the world? Or I'm working on some stuff on my credit right now. I'm probably like 6 months out. Like it's a defense mechanism. It's the defense. Like nobody wants to
they
tell
don't want their
officer,
credit pulled. They don't want,
yeah. Nobody wants to tell them, I want to buy a house right now, and then have that loan officer pull their credit, look at everything, and say, yeah, you're probably about 6 months out, or you're probably 2 months. Like nobody wants to have that conversation. Yeah. It's so much easier to have that conversation if I tell you up front, yeah, I'm probably like 4 or 5 months out. You convince me to submit an application, and then submit that application, and I'm like, and then the loan officer can say, you're pretty close. It looks like all you need to do is this. And what's crazy is the amount of clients at that point that will then say, oh, really? Yeah. Well, I could do that in like the next couple of weeks. Right. I could do that right now. I could, this person could help me out with that or whatever. And it's like that 4 to 5 month timeline, that 6 month timeline just disappears when you get somebody that like knows what the hell they're doing on the phone and can help, help a prospect navigate that process.
Yeah. And brokers, man, they're so creative, and they can get a lot of tough deals closed, and so, and that, not the, consumers are much more educated nowadays, but are they?
But they have no idea what's possible.
Right. They don't.
Yeah.
And that brought up another question here. What's changing in the market, right? Before, agents would get the lead, right? Everyone would find the home, and then the agent would send the lead. How is that changing? What do you see more and more of, and in the future?
Yeah. Well, I think in order to understand this, in order for anybody who's listening to this to get on board with what I'm about to say here, you got to look at the history of why agents control the leads in the first place. Why do agents control that dynamic of that relationship? Why have consumers consistently gone to real estate agents over time instead of the loan officer first? Now, everybody wants to say, every marketer wants to just knee jerk say, well, it's because homes are sexier. Nobody wants to talk about the mortgage. Right. But that's not that is an explanation, an explanation in hindsight, and not necessarily an accurate one, right? What if you look at history, what came out in the late 1800s that didn't exist before then was a collection of individual real estate agents that wanted to share the listings that they had available. Yeah. So these guys, all these agents had their own book of business, their own listings, and now they're getting together on a monthly basis or weekly basis or whatever to share that information with each other, because they know that it's going to be easier to sell houses if I know what's on the market and if they know that my shit's on the market, right? That was the birth of the MLS. Okay, that was in late 1880s. Okay, mortgages didn't come out, mortgages weren't a thing until the 1930s. Yeah. So if you're the banker that invented mortgages, you'd be a goddamn moron. And this product was invented to build relationships with realtors and get business that way. Yeah. They had a 50-year head start. Agents had a 50-year head start. Yeah. And then guess what? Not until 2004, 2005 was Redfin, the first online MLS listing access. So not until 2004 did consumers ever have the tools, more than a century later, to overcome the reason why they needed to go to the agent in the first place. Yeah. So as of the last 10 years, agents, are they necessary? Because we're used to having them in a transaction? 110%. Are they necessary on the level that they became necessary in the first place? And do they have the ability to control MLS access anymore that makes it so that consumers have to use them? No.
Yeah.
So over time, I don't know exactly what that's going to look like in the end. I'm not saying realtors are going to go extinct by any means, but like over time, naturally, as consumers become more educated, like they're going to gravitate towards the more logical option. Like the more educated the consumer gets, the less they want to be sold anything.
Yep.
The more they want to feel like they're the one that made that decision, which means they don't like, the more educated the consumer gets, the less they're going to want to go with their realtor's recommendation or even ask for that recommendation in the first place. Yeah. They're going to want to go into the conversation with the agent feeling like they're in a position of power and educated. I know that I can do this. I've already talked to my lender. I've done this, whatever.
Yeah.
That's what I've seen take place over the 4 or 5 years we've been doing this. And I've got client testimonials in the last couple of months that say they've seen a massive shift of that in the last year specifically.
Oh yeah. We see a lot of our that's a question we ask in one of our funnels. Are they working with a real estate agent? And many of them are saying no, right? They're not. Yeah. So they're starting their search in Google, right? And you got tools out there like Credit Karma, educating, right? They're starting to understand that, hey, yeah, I need the financing lined up before I find a house, right? Maybe it's good to know like how much home I can afford, and there's this messaging. So they are more educated, right? And they're going to Google and starting their search there first. So
that's interesting. You brought up Credit Karma, man. When Credit Karma buys a mortgage company, we're in trouble. The industry's in trouble. Like Credit Karma is in a better position than any of the big data companies that are talked about in the mortgage space. Like better than Zillow, better than Realtor.com, better than KW. Like those guys are in a better position as far as taking market share from smaller companies in the mortgage space than any of those other companies.
Yeah, and you know, a lot of those companies, they'll send you to a big old calling center, with you're not getting a real personal touch. You got Quicken Loans, Rocket, they're spending $1 million a month to convince the consumer that they don't need, they can click and get a mortgage. They seem to be winning, right? They're everywhere.
Well, it's like how long do you let them try and figure this shit out? You know what I mean? It's like you're letting the big kid on the playground, like the big bully on the playground, you're letting them like get access to all the unassembled parts of like a weapon essentially. And like you let them sit there and tinker with it enough, and they're going to figure out how to put together the freaking weapon. Like, and that's kind of where we're at. Like, you're 100% right. Like, the consumer experience when they get routed to the consumer direct call center is awful, but it's gotten better. It's gotten better, and it's getting better. And the more pressure that comes from the industry, the better they're going to get. Mm-hmm. But more importantly, the more loan officers let them take that piece of the pie. Yeah. The more loan officers let Quicken Loans be the number one buyer of internet leads, the longer they're letting that big kid on the playground play with the weapon components and try and figure out how to put it together.
Right. They're just eating up more and more. Yeah. So what else did you want to share that we haven't covered yet?
I mean, did I want to share? I mean, I'm here for you, for your listeners. Did I want to share? I mean, I would like, as far as stuff that we see going on a lot right now. I mean, I think that a couple big trends that we see right now are like post-close data, like post-close database management.
Yeah.
So I don't know if you know Sales Boomerang and Mortgage Coach merge.
I think I did see an email about that.
Yeah, so they had the same like VC investor come in and buy pieces of their, of both the companies and merge them essentially. And that's gonna be huge. I mean, like with like the stuff that they're already doing with it is really cool. But like being, Sales Boomerang does like life event and credit monitoring for post-close campaign, like on the post-close side. And so they can do stuff like telling you when somebody's getting married, when they're having a kid. And then when you pair that with Mortgage Coach and the information about what their interest rate is and where interest rates are now, Mortgage Coach, the awesome reports that they've already created are, if they are already doing this, the vision for this is that these reports will be able to be created automatically, triggered off of these different life events. So if you have a kid that's turning 18 and you get a life event monitoring alert for that, then it might send you a total cost analysis from Mortgage Coach where it breaks down a cash out refinance and how much money they could save over doing that and consolidating their debt and having a better interest rate for the student loan. You know what I mean? Like just super advanced level reports that are easy for anybody to understand, created and triggered off of like high level data monitoring events. It's sick. What they're doing is really cool.
Awesome. Well, awesome, man. What should people expect working with Empower LO?
Yeah, well, depends on where you're at in your business, but you can expect a partner, like relative to the level that you want to partner with us. If you want to come in and you just want to use the marketing software, like you just want to have access to go high level, tailored for loan officers, and access to a team that can help support you in that. A couple $100 a month for that, like we're down with that, and you still get a partner. Now, if you want to step up that partnership a level, and you want to dive into generating leads on Google and getting the follow-up coaching and really like making consumer direct a pillar in your business, like we can partner on that level too, and we do, and we partner with LOs all the way to spending $1,000 a month on ads, all the way up to our biggest clients spending 30 to 40 grand a month on ads, and have helped people scale everywhere in between. So at the end of the day, like a partnership, a marketing, like a partnership. And I mean, you're going to get the same thing with with mortgagebrokermarketing.com. Like you get good professionals in this space that truly care, and they're going to be invested in you and your business. And I'd like to think that our team, along with the guys at mortgagebrokermarketing.com, fall into that category.
Awesome. Michael, it was great having you. Give me one last question here. What would you say is the greatest insight to someone in a mortgage broker that's trying to take their business to the next level?
Make investments in your business that give you assets that you can leverage elsewhere. Like make investments in your business that can be like multiplied. Don't do things that are not well leveraged. And that's why digital is so good, is because rather than focusing on coffee meetings, you can focus on producing content that you can then leverage on 4 or 5 different channels for 5 years or whatever. So if you're serious about staying in this business for any amount of time, like manage your database well and make investments into activities that produce assets that you can reuse down the road. Because your time is your most important asset. And if you can eliminate time investment, then you're going to be better off than most of your competitors for sure.
Awesome. Michael, how can customers get in touch with you? What's the best spot?
Yeah, check us at empowerlo.com. If you're interested in lead gen, we've got a link at the top. It says Mortgage Lead Gen. Core is the service that we offer. That is the mortgage lead generation service. But you can also just go to empowerlo.com. Check us out. Check out what we're about. Right. Some of what we believe on the marketing side, in addition to what you've heard here. But you can also start a 14-day free trial. And if you let us know that you came through the podcast, so if you start that free trial, shoot us a chat, say, hey, I heard about you guys. I heard about you guys on the podcast. I heard about you guys on Brian's podcast. Like, if you let us know, we'll extend your trial from 14 days to 30 days and double the amount of credit that you have in your account, so that you can really, really give it a good shot.
Awesome.
And then we'll even hop on a strategy session with you as well to help you get going.
Awesome. Thanks for your time today, Michael. It was great chatting with you. We'll do it again.
Yeah. Thanks, Brian. I appreciate it.
No problem. If you would like to generate more sales through your digital marketing efforts, please visit mortgagebrokermarketing.com and get a copy of the book, Internet Marketing for Mortgage Brokers, tripling your online sales by getting your internet marketing done the right way. Also check the training section of the website for guides on everything from running effective pay-per-click ads to optimizing your Google My Business listing. This has been another episode of the Mortgage Success Podcast. Thank you for listening.